I want to take a minute to offer my condolences to the family of Chris Kyle. Is an unbelievable tragedy. What happened for sorry about that. My daughter and wife walked in there. Irony is that I was just talking about Chris Kyle's family, and my family comes walking in. I can't imagine what his family, his wife and his children, especially his wife, his parents, must be going through. And I know over the years of these two wars we've been fighting, his case is not unique in the sense that I've heard in the past of stories of soldiers just surviving unbelievable odds, being in combat and serving their country with dignity and honor, putting everything on the line, their families, what they sacrificed for them. And the soldier finally gets home. They're done. They've paid their dues to this country, more than their dues. And then, because of senseless violence, and, there's been some cases where it's been just a thug or something like that, but then they go and take their life. And you take that from that family, and it's just there's no way you can't wrap your head around it. How that could be, how it ends after everything else. Evidently, I don't know, but evidently this was a result of Mr. Kyle and another gentleman trying to help out a fellow soldier, a Marine that was suffering from PTSD. And we don't know what transpired, but we know how it ended. And thoughts and prayers go out to Chris Kyle, your family, and the world's lost a great soul yesterday. So that gives me opportunity here. That's one of the things that I have been for a while, and I don't know that this is how this went down. I mean, it's not the exact same scenario, but one of the things that I tell a lot of my students, or I tell all my students, especially if you're going to the range, you're going to go shoot, especially if you're by yourself, and especially if it's an outdoor range. A lot of those ranges are off in the wilderness, they're secluded. Never shoot all your magazines dry. Never be without a loaded magazine. It's too easy for, say, I'll give you a scenario. You got a bad guy that he knows that range is there, and he's got a gun, sits and waits in the woods. And most people, when they go to the range and shoot, especially when they're by themselves, they get a cadence. They fall into a pattern. They say you've got 3 magazines that you're using. They will shoot those 3 magazines, whether or not they're training tactically and doing their manipulation, speed reloads, keeping the gun in their workspace, all the yada yada. And then they're empty. They go back to their table, they sit there, and they reload those magazines. That bad guy, all he has to do is sit and wait and watch your pattern. And when he feels comfortable that you are set into a pattern, and he sees what you've done and knows that you've expended all the ammunition in those same 3 magazines that you keep loading, whatever the number may be, all he has to do is walk straight out. He's got a gun. He can take everything you've got there, take your firearms, take your car, take your life, money. You've got your child with you, take your child's life, whatever. The point is, if you're going to the range, you're going to be shooting, Always a good idea to have a buddy with you there. Have someone there with you. That way, you know, in case you get hurt, in case something happens, you've got someone else that's got your back. Because a lot of those ranges are way out. No one will ever know. Especially if it's like a weekend or something like that. You know, or an evening. And never run all your magazines dry. Excuse me. Have a dedicated magazine. Have that magazine, have it in your pocket. That way it's not necessarily in your magazine pouch where you're training from, but just have it on your person, have it readily accessible, and have some damn good ammo in it. You know, personal defense rounds. If you've got a dedicated magazine, the one that you carry in the gun, that you go to the range within that gun, if you're like me, you don't shoot that ammo all the time. So you pull that magazine out, and if you're gonna, you know, run your ball or whatever, you'll unload that magazine and load in your ball, and then when you're done, you're ready to leave the range. Or when you get home, some people wait till they get home. I suggest you make sure you have that gun loaded for bear before you leave that range. But if you follow my suggestion here, all you have to do is throw that magazine, take that magazine out, rack that slide, get that one chambered round out of there, because you should have a round chambered, and put that in your pocket. And then just run the rest of your magazines for practice. But whenever you go leave, that way you've already got your magazine loaded with good ammo, you're ready to go. You can chamber that round, drop the mag, throw that extra round that was in your pocket that came out of the chamber. That way you're kind of rotating a little bit. You got a lot of good things there. But just something that, you know, it just made me think about it. It's a tip, it's things I tell my students, and maybe someone out there will hear that, take it to heart, and maybe it'll save your ass one day. So I'm gonna stop this clip, start another one so we can carry on.